In 1954, movie audiences were alerted to a new cinematic presence, a deadly creature whose popularity would soon rival that of Dracula and the Frankenstein creature.
What was it? Science didn't know? No. Starring lovely Julia Adams, her beauty allure even to the man-beast from the dawn of time.
The most unique aspect of the picture for me was relating to the creature, to really putting one's imagination to the point that these incredible events were happening, that they were really happening.
Julie Adams would gain eternal fame as the love interest of this prehistoric jungle beast. But before the cameras rolled, the creature from the Black Lagoon went through several revisions in the Universal Studios makeup department. The final Gillman look was developed by department head Bud Westmore and veteran makeup artist Jack Keevan. But dozens of talented individuals worked on the costume that would be worn by a 25-year-old actor named Ben Chapman.
I watched him literally being put together. And you know, when you're watching sections and pieces being put together, in your heart you wonder, what am I going to look like when I put on? So the first time I put on the suit, it was like slipping into the skin or body of this gill man. So I, through almost a metamorphosis, became the gill man.
I think Ben had a very good sense of menace. One of the things that Ben did so well was the kind of slow and deliberate steps so that the creature on land never seemed to just move swiftly, and it built the suspense.
Achieving that performance wasn't easy. The creature costume was actually a one-piece body stocking over which thick foam rubber body parts were glued.
I would report into makeup, and we would start. They would have to pull it up to where it would fit every crease exactly. It took 2 hours, you know, 2 to 3 people helping me into that thing.
And then you would put your imagination to work, and it was not Ben Chapman in his suit anymore. This was an incredible monster from the deep.
No, don't shoot, don't shoot! Puppy, you might hit Kay.
The creature from the Black Lagoon went on to become the most enduring movie monster of the 1950s. Today, its continued popularity surprises the film's stars.
I never thought this film that we would still be talking about it all these years later. Never in a million years.
You will see the most amazing sights the screen has ever known in this strangest of all science fiction adventures.
In the 1950s, actors in monster suits terrorized movie audiences on a daily basis. Alligator people, mole people, reptile women, monsters from outer space, hideous sun demons, all prowled the silver screen to strike terror into the hearts of innocent sex kittens. In the movies, people are often plagued by otherworldly creatures. And in the 1950s, these monsters seemed to come out of the woodwork.
Hello, police headquarters? This is Carter, Johnny Carter.
Oh, sure, they're from another planet.
Saucer men with giant brains, radioactive mutants, and Venusian vegetables. They stalked drive-in movie screens of the 50s. These black and white demons were all brought to life by monster maker Paul Blaisdell.
Paul was really great at creating like monsters and creatures and stuff on account of his imagination. He could create stuff out of nothing. There's never been another creature that's even come close to looking like that.
Memorabilia collector Bob Burns was Paul Blaisdell's close friend and assistant. Although Paul had been an illustrator for science fiction novels and fan magazines, he got into movies in a small way, creating this hand puppet for the beast with a million eyes.
It was really neat. He just sculpted it in clay. He just painted rubber over the top of it, different thicknesses till he got it thick enough, slid it up the back, and made the puppet out of that. And then stuffed the arms with cotton, and he was actually in the scene working the puppet and making it move.
Paul Blaisdell became a master of B-movie monsters. He labored with minuscule budgets and unbelievably tight schedules.
In the 50s, the normal shooting schedule was 7 days. That's it. That's really fast. I don't know anybody today that could build a monster as fast as he could. Sometimes you'd do them in 2.5, 3 weeks. Very fast. He was never really totally satisfied with anything he ever did because he knew he could do better if he had that one extra week. Paul always usually wore the monster suits. It was just cheaper for him to act in them, for them to get an actor to do it. He knew how to work the suits. That was just part of his deal of, okay, you build the suits, you wear the suit, and that's it. Paul's favorite monster role probably was the she-creature. The she-creature was supposed to be a lady who had regressed back in time to her prehistoric self.
In 1956, Blaisdell designed his most bizarre creature for It Conquered the World.
The monster was built to stay in a cave. Always supposed to be in a cave. The eyes glowed, and you saw these big teeth, and you really couldn't get a real good look at it. And we were at a sneak preview to see it. And everybody was screaming and yelling and having a great time till at the very end it came out into the sunlight out of the cave and then started getting belly laughs because it did look kind of silly in just bright light. And Paul was very upset about that. He never really got over that.
In the early 1960s, Paul's discouragement with the constraints of B-movie making led him to turn his back on Hollywood. When he died of cancer in 1983 at the age of 56, his death went largely unnoticed.
2, 1.
Today, the films of Paul Blaisdell are viewed by a new generation of monster fans.
People seem to really like these films better now. And I think because they were like unique monsters, they weren't over-sophisticated by any means. And so people could really identify a little bit more with them, had a lot more fun.